Are you ready to become unstoppable? If you do, you definitely want to listen to this podcast. I'm going to break down the 3 things you must master to massively monetize your spiritual gifts and make an impact in the world. You may be somebody who doesn't want to turn your spiritual work into a business or make money with it. And that's okay as well, because I'm going to break down these 3 things that you need to master, whether your business is your family, whether your business is whatever, whether you have a job or you are a soul-based entrepreneur or coach or leader or practitioner. No matter what, I am here to give you a gift today. So today I'm going to share 3 gifts with you of how to not only survive, but thrive. Let's do this. Here we go. Welcome to the Dr. Erin podcast. This is a top spiritual psychology coach podcast to inspire and teach you how to transform your trauma, birth your soul's purpose, and manifest your dreams. Hi, I'm Dr. Erin, Doctor of Divinity. I'm committed to bringing you the best coaching tips, spiritual advice, trauma healing, and metaphysical recovery secrets. I'm here to help you monetize your spiritual gifts and love your life. I want you to know that I've been exactly where you are, and I believe in you. Together, we're awakening the world. Hi, my soul family. I am really honored to be here with you today. Whether you are out on a walk or taking some time to settle in and come into the divine space within, or whether you're cleaning your house, I don't know what you do when you're listening to this podcast, but I want you to know that I've been where you are. No matter if you're in an incredible space or whether you are in a lot of fear right now in your life and struggling, I want you to know that I'm with you right now in my heart and in my mind and in the spiritual nature, knowing that we are definitely one. And my biggest heart's desire is one thing. It really truly is to help people end their suffering and awaken to the divinity, their divine nature, the power within. And so today I would like to share with you really 3 things you must master in order to not only survive, but thrive no matter what's happening in the world. And I know right now we're going through some crazy times, right? There's been so much over the last few years. It's really almost hard to even believe everything that's gone on. And there's inflation, and there's the unknown of political things, and there's so much fear out there in your face every day, on social media, on your phone, in your emails, everywhere. But what I know for sure is that the truth prevails. I'm so certain of this. And I'm so certain that as we master our mind, that we absolutely can really not only, again, just survive, but we absolutely can thrive. So I want to share with you today 3 things you must master to massively monetize your spiritual gifts and make an impact in the world. So you may be somebody who doesn't want to turn your spirituality into a business, and that's okay, because you're still going to want to have efficiency in your life. You're still going to want to be able to create an amazing family or friendships or experiences for your life. And so business is not just about business. I think it's one of the things we have to overcome, that business is really just as much our spiritual work, that it's really becoming efficient in our life to be able to powerfully create what we want to experience in this lifetime. So I invite you to open up your mind right now, because I'm going to share 3 things that I realized after going through so many things and going through the recession in 2008 and going through my own ups and downs and being somebody that came from no money, going to the thrift store growing up, having to wait tables to put food on the table as my son was young, and coming to a place where I had to dig so deep into my soul to really find the truth and take bold action and really take a leap of faith. And I've come to some profound truths, and I'd love to share them with you here, right now. So who am I speaking to exactly, right? I'm speaking to, yes, of course, as you guys know, I certify, we accreditate everything from soul-based entrepreneurs, and we train spiritual psychology coaches and people in E4 trauma method, along with our spiritual psychology master practitioner program, and we train and develop teachers, New Thought Wisdom teachers. And of course, we train and develop, we're launching out the Doctor of Divinity training. But what we also do is we work with people who just want to do their deep healing work. We really, actually, it'll probably end up being the biggest part of my message, and our biggest clients that we work with are people that just strictly want to do transformational work, right? So who am I speaking to? I'm speaking to anybody that truly wants to do their healing work, anyone that really wants to master their own mind and wants to not live in fear anymore, that wants to get over, say, dysfunction in your relationships. Trust me, I know it very well, as codependent for many years. Or somebody who's trying to figure out how to manage their money, whether they want to be an entrepreneur, whether they have a business, whether they're in a job, whether they're in a corporation. Regardless, you are your business. Doesn't matter if you work for a company or not. You still have to understand how to become the highest version of yourself and be able to manage all that. So I'm talking to anybody that really truly cares about knowing thyself and becoming the most powerful you can be. So let's break this down. This is really for anyone who's committed to becoming the highest version of themselves and desires to create extraordinary transformation for themselves or for the people in their life, okay? Everything that we work on in society, in the spiritual psychology school, and all the work that we do. I've worked with top CEOs. I've worked with top celebrities. I've worked with many different levels of women and men across the globe, people who had zero, people that were very, very traumatized, having major issues in their mental abilities, all the way to people who are absolutely very advanced spiritual beings. This works on anything. This work works on anything. That's a cool thing. The cool thing about spiritual psychology is it doesn't matter what's happened to you in your life. We don't measure what's happened to you in your life, and we acknowledge everything that's happened to your life. But it doesn't matter who I'm working with. It doesn't matter if they come in with relationships and love issues or career issues or health issues, or they're trying to birth their soul. The framework that we use in E4 trauma, the framework that we use in spiritual psychology coaching, the framework that we use True Triangle, and all the processes, the metaphysical processes, the profound, deep soul clearing, is the same exact processes for each and every client. The conversation and the distinctions might be different, but the processes are identical. That's what's so cool about the work that we do. That when we train somebody in this work, it doesn't matter what their niche is, who their avatar and client is, or what they're really solving. The processes are identical because guess what? Energy is energy. And energy cannot be destroyed. And the only way to transmute energy, there's basics of metaphysics. There's basics of metaphysics, and you have to know these basics. We're never taught. We have these vehicles called this body, right? And we're never taught how to use the vehicle. We don't have an owner's manual. We just get plopped into this thing with parents that generally don't know how to use their vehicles, right? Like we've not learned how to master the mind. We've not learned to master this incredible temple that we live in. So I invite you to get focused. I invite you to really get that a miracle can happen for you right now. And we don't believe in miracles in that we believe that miracles are only glitches in your current belief system. What we believe in is you. I believe in you. I know no matter how far down in the dumps you are, no matter how crappy of a situation you have right now, I know for a fact the truth of who you are. I know that you are here to do great things. I know that you are here to heal your lineage trauma. I know you're here to clear out all limitations and stand on the shoulders of all of the great wisdom that has come before. And I just take a deep breath in together and exhaling out. And I want to break down these things for you, okay? The number one thing that you need to learn to master, that I realized when I was going through really hard times, right? I realized that I had to master my mindset, my spiritual mastery, right? I had to master my mindset. There was no way I was going to be able to deal with the dysfunction in my relationships, the fear of the world out there, news, and all the insanity out there without mastering my mindset. And of course, how do we do that exactly? Because we have clients that come in and they've done a lot of work. They've taken a ton of courses. They think they've actually done their trauma work. They've gone to, all different transformational seminars, and they've read a lot of books, and they may have meditated quite a bit. But I'm going to tell you that I hear this 9 out of 10 times, I'd say, from clients, and they go, holy cow, I thought I had done my spiritual work. I thought I had done my trauma work. I thought I had done my inner work. And they're like, I had no idea how much was still in there and how deep we go in E4 and how deep we go in these processes. I've had therapists that have come to train with me. I've had traditional Western doctors come to work with me, and they're like, holy cow, this has similarities to cognitive therapy, but it's way deeper. We go way down into, it's like a weed. You can't just cut off the weed, right? If you go out with a weed whacker, what happens? The weeds just get stronger and they come up even more fiercely, right? It's like, let me pretend that I'm going to be positive. It doesn't work. Okay. You can't just reframe stuff. I always say it's like, making a chocolate pie out of cow shit, right? It doesn't work. So we have to go into the soul at the epigenetic level, right? We've got to actually go on to the part of the DNA, the part of the epi, which is beyond, above, that actually turns on and off your genetics, that is actually playing out as a subconscious processing that has you not be able to actually complete cycles. It has you sabotaging your relationships and your success. It has you in stuck patterns. It has you sad, even though there's nothing even really to be sad in that moment. It's like it's playing out the past pictures through the Akashic records. It just keeps pulling up pictures. You can't get over things. You keep trying, but something is missing. And we call this the key. We all watched The Secret documentary, but there was something missing in that whole concept of the law of attraction, because the law of attraction works. Universal law works. We teach universal law. But if you don't deal with the trauma and the subconscious mind and actually transmuting the actual energetics and releasing it, then it doesn't matter what you think logically, because your subconscious is just going to play out on rote. So how do we do this? You've got to get in and you've got to do the E4. You've got to do deep, deep trauma is the number one thing. Okay. You've got to first master that. You've got to master your mindset. And there's more to that, right? You want to go beyond just trauma. You want to go into actually getting clear of what are your core values. I don't think, especially as young girls, we're not taught what our values are. We morph ourselves a lot in the old school ways of morphing to be some way that the culture told us, so that we're going to be good enough for, somebody to love us, right? For me, I can't speak for anybody else. For me, I didn't have any self-worth. I didn't have any self-worth. How could I have self-worth when my parents didn't even know how to love themselves? And they definitely didn't know how to love me at that point in time. Since then, we've healed and we absolutely love profoundly with each other. Okay. But you've got to get in and do that deep inner work. Number one, especially if you want to monetize, right? There's so many people that are saying they're coaches and they're hot messes. Let's face the fact. I remember very well saying I was a coach, and I actually didn't even have a client. I'd had a client, but I had no clients. I didn't actually know how to get great transformation for my clients. So I sabotaged even getting clients, right? I would go around and try and do all this work, but I actually didn't know how to actually do the deep work. It was great in consciousness. I could talk about all the spiritual stuff. I had all the jargon. I could talk about all of it, but I actually wasn't living at a soul level. I had an experience in a deep, profound way. Or I had gone in and done a bunch of spiritual meditation. I'd gone out of body and I had these mystical experiences, but then I'd slam back into my body and into my triggers as soon as I was around, any family member or dating at all, right? It's like, so if you are triggered, you have not done all your spiritual work, right? If you're still judging your parents or your children, you haven't done your spiritual work. It's just black and white, you guys. Like, you got to get real with yourself. You can't keep pretending that you got it all figured out, because you don't. Neither do I. I'm never going to stop. That's why I have coaches. That's why I have to do my daily spiritual practice every day. I've got to do this, right? So we have to master our mindset. And our framework, our technology is not just yes, I came up and created E4 trauma. Yes, I created the coaching processes, but the metaphysics universal law. This is lineage. This is, you can even call it Christ consciousness, right? It's that deep. It's energy. It is absolute wisdom that lives as you. You don't manifest, you're manifesting. You are the manifestation. You are manifesting 24/7. And your subconscious mind is setting polarity of the universal law into motion right now as we speak with zero effort whatsoever, because all the limited beliefs, identities, and all the energetics. Number one, you've got to master your mind. I would invite you to turn off any social media that's getting you in fear. I would suggest that you turn off the television. If you watch television, I haven't had a television since 2008. I suggest that you don't surround yourself with anybody that is into conspiracy theories right now. We already know that there's a bunch of lies out there. How much more do we want to know about all the lies? It's time to focus on doing your inner work. Okay. Number one thing. The second thing that has to happen, okay, you have to master your skill set. Okay. If you are doing business, of course, you've got to master, we teach a 6-step process of mastering business and being able to really get in there and be able to know exactly how to convert people on our social media. When we come in contact with, we need to understand how the psychology of sales works, right? We need to understand how we need to position ourselves as an expert in the industry and get into freebies and get into having value sequences, all this stuff, building our funnels, doing marketing, doing sales. Most people fail at business because they haven't mastered their mindset and they don't have a strategic plan of their business that works. Okay. But let's just pretend that you don't even want to do business. Let's pretend that you just want to not have stress and you have a traditional job, or even let's just pretend you're married and you don't even have a traditional job, whatever that is. It's the same stuff, you guys. You've got to learn how to be efficient. You've got to learn how to deal with things and be able to deal with your bills and have systems and policies and things. What I love about entrepreneurship, spiritual entrepreneurship, is that there's an efficiency that happens. And you're able to become more powerful because you're able to direct energy. That's all we're doing as spiritual beings. So in our skill set, right, we've mastered our mindset. We've done our inner work. We've birthed our purpose and calling. And we've come to a place where we need to now have skill set. If you're let's just pretend you're unemployed. Let's pretend that you lost your job during the pandemic. What are you going to do? You're going to sit there in fear all day and do nothing. You've got to have an organization, even when it comes to getting a job, whether you're creating your own company or doing your own business. You've got to come into a place where you're surrounded by people that know how to get stuff done. Okay. And in our skill set, we learn how to set our goals. But if our goals are based off of what the culture told us, then we're going to not really have motivation to do our goals. We get motivation. Motivation is, we don't need to get motivation when it's a soul-driven purpose. And you can have a soul-driven purpose that's having a job or creating your own business. But if it's not based in your soul, like they're worthless goals because you're actually not committed to them. And therefore you're never actually going to make them happen, right? I've had coaches, I had a coach come in. She had been working with a big coach. She had had some success in her business. She had began to make money, but she was getting so burned out because she was trying to keep up with the influencer, right? She was trying to keep up with these influencers. So she found herself that she was having some success in business, but she was just burnt out. And it wasn't until she did her deep inner spiritual work and did her, core trauma work that she actually birthed her purpose. And then what happened is she 10x'd her company, right? She 10x'd her coaching business, and she wasn't getting burned out because she was actually living in alignment with her mission and her purpose, right? Her purpose and calling. So it doesn't matter if you are in a traditional job or if you're an entrepreneur, you still need to get clear of what you're here to do on the planet, right? Some people shouldn't be entrepreneurs, by the way. Some people are not built to be entrepreneurs. They're built to have a mission, though, and work for a company that's in alignment with what they care about, their core values, right? So part of doing our inner work, all that work has to be done in order to get all the skill set of our business, because what we do in Soulciety is we do very strategic goal setting. We have a bigger 1 year, 5 year, 10-year goal, and we strategize in what we're up to do in our goals. And we put our goals for the year, for the quarter, because I train everybody as a CEO of their personal life. We put our goals to every month, every week, every day, and every hour. Okay. We have accountability, and we strategically plan out and get in systems and policy. Because if we imagine, you go, what's policy, right? It's like what they say in boundaries. You know how you're supposed to have boundaries in your relationships? You should understand what works for you and doesn't work for you in all areas of your life. And that's part of business as well. There's no difference, you guys. We're not taught this in school. We're taught about geography when we haven't even figured out our own vehicle that we live in, our mindset, and how we actually are going to be efficient, right? We need to learn these things for sure in high school and definitely in college. And we're not even taught it in college. We're taught all these different concepts that aren't actually applicable to our real life, like paying our bills, like having relationships that aren't dysfunctional, like actually living in alignment with what we really truly want to create, right? So this is imperative. So first is, of course, your mindset. You've got to get your mindset right. Okay. Secondly is your skill set. You've got to learn how to become efficient in your life. If you, of course, if you want to monetize as a, soul-based, entrepreneur, coach, or practitioner leader, you've definitely got to learn the 6-step process that we teach and be able to know this. Okay. I don't care if there's a recession, if there's not a recession, you've got to turn off the fear and you've got to focus on what you're creating every single day. What are you creating, right? So the third thing that you have to master in order to, massively monetize and make an impact in the world, regardless if there's a recession or not, is you've got to master your expertise. You've got to master your expertise. Okay. Even if you have a traditional job, you're going to want to rise up in your position, right? And so you've got to get really good at skills at whatever it is that is your expertise. And a good example is this. There's lots of coaches that'll come to me. I have some coaches that are just beginning. They've never had one client, right? And they're like, how in the world am I ever going to compete with the big coaches out there? They have imposter syndrome. They're like getting down on themselves. They maybe have tried something. They maybe have even created a program and no one purchased it. They're just like about ready to give up, right? But what they don't understand is that, say, for example, one of my clients, he was abused by his father, like physically, emotionally abused by his father. Okay. And what came out of doing the deep inner work is he realized that he actually wanted to work with teen boys, helping them do their inner work and build their esteem and help them get, create their dreams into reality. This is the deal. If you're out there and you're a teen boy, or rather you're a parent that has a teen boy that's going through some issues, do you think that you're going to want to have him come work with me, Dr. Erin? Or do you think you're going to want to have him work with a man that's dealt with exactly what that teen child is dealing with, right? So obviously they would probably want to go work with somebody who's dealt with the same issues that their teen that was abused by their father is dealing with, right? This is called a niche. Okay. And a niche is very important because you are not in big competition. When you niche down, you become an expert. So if you want to not only survive, but thrive in any industry, in any economical status, you want to develop your expertise. So in our training, obviously, I train and develop people as experts, getting accredited and certified in specific processes, E4 trauma method, and in all the spiritual psychology coaching processes, all the stuff, universal law, all of it. And so they become an expertise, right? But you're like, well, but maybe there's a bunch of other people learning E4. So how does that make me an expertise? Because, for example, one of our great leaders, Hillary, she works with in the recovery industry. We have lots of different, industry. We have coaches that deal with relationships and love. We have coaches that deal with recovery. We have coaches that deal with helping people make money. We have coaches that do all. We have real estate brokers that come and work with us because they want to implement the work into their group, because they realize if they don't have healthy employees, it's not going to work. We have corporations. I have longevity doctors that reach out to me for the work because they know that you actually look younger and live longer if you've done your trauma work. Okay, so back to the point, becoming an expertise. So Hillary, for example, Hillary's an amazing leader and she deals with people in recovery. So she has built, her own framework, and she also uses E4 and all the processes that she's learned within her training with me, right? And then she actually is going into the Doctor of Divinity program. So she will be doing research projects around E4 and a bunch of stuff, but she will tee herself up to be a world renowned spiritual leader that is the only recovery leader that deals with New Thought wisdom, metaphysics, spiritual psychology, and E4 trauma method, okay? And has her own processes as well. But the point is that she's teeing herself up years and years and years, right? Like she's a badass, okay? So you can't afford to not go work with Hillary, right? So it's the same thing, you guys. You have to take a look at, where am I not only going to be this year, but where am I going to be 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Okay. And if you want to be somebody that's not only surviving, but thriving, someone who absolutely wants to massively monetize or wants to just have an impact with yourself or with the people around you, you need to develop these skills. Okay. You need to develop these skills because there's an exchange in the universe. There's nothing worse than having somebody that's just entitled and thinks they should have everything given to them without an exchange. Even the people I know that absolutely do not have to make money, but they are an expertise. They're an expertise at giving back in foundations. They're an expertise in really in helping every single person in their life. They still have a major skill set. They become valuable wherever they go. So your expertise is really about bringing the highest value. For example, a dentist. Okay. This is an offshoot of a metaphor. If you go to a traditional general dentist, you're going to pay the general prices for pretty much whatever needs. You need a teeth cleaning, you need a filling, you do it. Generally, there's some kind of standard prices. Okay. But if you go to an expertise, say you need something specifically done that no other dentist can do because you specialize in something, you're going to get paid way higher, right? Per hour, probably, of what you're doing, right? The same thing happens with somebody. It's an expertise as a coach, as a leader. If I'm coming to a yoga class or a meditation class, I may only pay $30 for that meditation class. But if I come in and say, Dr. Erin's going to help me actually transfer my trauma, that's actually going to maybe I'm somebody who is almost on the verge of divorce. And I'm so stressed out. I'm literally, my health is diminishing. I can't even show up for work, right? And you come in and work with me, and my promise is to transform your trauma and birth your truth, whether you stay in that marriage, whether you get a divorce, whatever it is, and your stress levels go down, you're able to make decisions. You may stay in that marriage, hopefully, whatever that is, right? You can't afford to not work with me, right? You can't afford to not do that work. If you're someone who's like, I want to monetize my spiritual gifts, you can't afford to not work with me. I am one of the highest in the industry. We have profound processes, right? So that's where we make the distinction of an expertise versus a generalist. If you go in for a meditation class, it's a general meditation class, fine. If you go in for a meditation class because they're teaching you and training you how to become a meditation teacher, it's a completely different thing, right? So I would tell this to my best friend. You've got to master 3 things to massively monetize your spiritual gifts and make an impact in the world, regardless if you want to make it into a career or not, okay? You've got to master your mindset. You've got to do all your inner trauma work and all your core work, birthing your core values and getting clear and being able to deal with anything, no matter if you get upset, you're confused, all those things. We have processes for each and every one of those things. The second thing, and in the first thing, the mindset, you've got to birth your soul's purpose. And what's your soul's purpose? Your soul is your soul's purpose. You first need to handle your own soul before you are birthed what you're here to do on the planet. Second thing you need to do is you need to master your skill set. You need to understand how to become efficient in your personal life, in your professional life. You need to have a strategic business plan that works, whether you are having a business or your family is your business. It's the same thing. You need systems, you need efficiency, and you need to figure out how to do that, okay? Third thing that you need to master, if you want to massively monetize or massively thrive through anything, you've got to become an expert in your field, okay? Become the best mother you've ever been in the world, right? Become the best coach, become the best spiritual leader, whatever it is that is your expertise, okay? These are the 3 things that you must master. And I'm telling you this because I care about you. And I don't want to see you stressed out in the middle of all this, okay? So this is my invitation. Wednesday, I have a breakthrough call on Wednesday. And sometimes when you come to that breakthrough call, I'm going to actually pull you up on stage and we're going to do some work, or we're just going to break through whatever you're at in your mindset, skill set, and expertise. Some of the Wednesdays, I'm going to actually give a webinar on these things. Okay. And I might actually teach other things. I invite you to come to my Wednesday webinar. I don't know how long this is going to go on or whatever, but I'm going to put underneath this the link for you to come to this call. Come engage with me. It's not a sales pitch. We really truly care about you, and we want to help and serve you. We understand how universal law, we understand whatever, as much we give away is as much as the universe is going to give to us, not necessarily through the same person. Okay. We understand how energy works and how universal law works. And I want to know you. I want to get to know you. I'd love to see your face on Zoom. I'd love to dive deep with you. I'd love to laugh with you and cry with you and whatever. Sometimes I record my podcast on there. Sometimes we will do, breakthrough work. Sometimes on a rare occasion, I'll do an E4 trauma method there, whatever that is, but I invite you to come. And it's obviously for non-members, because we do present something there. Okay. We present something about our programs, and you're welcome to come to one of those and just come check it out and see what we have to offer. Yes, we will make you an offer, for that one time that you come. But regardless, I would love to meet you and give you my heart for one of those sessions. Okay. That's my gift to you. Thank you so much for listening to this. I just want to say I just actually just do a spiritual mind treatment, or what we're calling spiritual scientific prayer, because there is a science to this. This impacts our mindset. It impacts our energetics of every single aspect of our cell. It impacts the coordination and the coherence between our heart and our brain. It impacts all of it. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and exhaling out. I just want to know right here, right now, this divine nature, this all prevailing, untouchable nature, the truth of who I am, the divine, that I am, that pure potential that always is life. Life cannot ever go away. Energy cannot be destroyed. It is eternal, immortal, and that part of you that is the power, that is always creating. It is that part that decides. It is consciousness. And in this, I recognize that I am the I am, and I recognize this for you as well. I recognize and know right here that you are here for greatness. You are here to remember the truth of who you are. You're here to create the entire universe into form. This is the same source that is in you. And you are the unique divine expression. There's only one of you on this entire planet. We want you. We want the healed you. We want the fully expressed you. We want the innovation and inventions and your voice, the only voice of you. You are the fractal of the divine. And we say yes. We say yes. And I declare right now that you are here living your greatest life without any objectives. And in this, I know if money was of no object, if it's a hell yes, you say yes. May you never put your power out there into the world. If time was of no factor because it is not reality in the spiritual world, you would never consider the time. You would just take a look at, what do I want to create, right? No matter what it is, if it's confusion, the truth is you have all the wisdom and knowing. And I know as you put your hands over your heart and you really get authentic with yourself, I know that you deserve to have incredible community, support, coaches, prosperity, vitality, great relationships, all that. And I just say yes. I say yes. I say yes. I simply know this with total gratitude, seeing you thrive, seeing you love your life, seeing you absolutely heal your ancestor lineage and all the above. Yes, yes, yes is all the universe says. It just says yes. I simply know this. I release this. My word is law. As together we say, and so it is. And so it is. Okay, you guys have a beautiful, blessed day. You can go below and see the link, or you can simply go to soulciety.com. And there's always a link on there to come to these Wednesday call if we're doing that. It is soulciete.com. Have a beautiful, blessed day, and may you live your truth.